Hello, hello, I'm Dr. Brett Spradlin. This is Divine Design Natural Health. We have a humdinger of a class tonight for you. Is there anybody here that wants to hear anything? Fabulous. That was very convincing. Thank you so much. Today, October 17th, Lies Doctors Tell Part 6. Lies Doctors Tell Part 6. As everybody writes that down, they're all taking notes. Now, I'll back up a little bit and I'll say, when I first got in practice, I could not believe some of the stuff that patients would tell me their doctors told them. So I started keeping track of it, and over the years, I kind of built part 1, and then I realized I had enough stuff for part 2, and then, you start gaining more patients and seeing more people, and you start getting more nurses and more PAs and more nurse practitioners and more physical therapists and more dental assistants, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And pretty soon, before you know it, you've got part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. This is part 6, and I already have plenty of stuff for part 7. So this will just be a never-ending series. What happens is people come in and they say, my doctor told me this, and I say that again, and that's where all of this came from. So now, before we get going, there's a little bit of housekeeping. I want you to be aware of some current events. Let's get right to it. Recently, the American Medical Association, remember, the people we're talking about, Lies Doctors Tell, the licensing board, the American Medical Association, they're taking licenses from California medical doctors and doctors of osteopathy who defy the COVID's narrative and the pandemic in California. So the American Medical Association, the same people who run your CDC and the same people who are your doctors are all members, your medical doctors, I should say, are all members of the American Medical Association. They all were tested and took a MCAT test that is copywritten and published by the American Medical Association. Their textbooks, in most cases, are published by the American Medical Association. What does that mean going forward? I'm glad you asked. The American Medical Association supports child mutilations. I will go on record with the camera rolling, and I will tell you, if you are still going to medical doctors in 2022, you're nuts. You're nuts. Amen. I'll call it like I see it. If you're still pushing that, kicking that can down the road, thinking that you need to take hypertension meds or cholesterol meds because your head's going to blow off because they made you afraid of your own heartbeat, told you were hypertensive, you're out of your mind. These are the same people who are chopping off your kids' genitals and breasts. Same people. I'm not going to mince words about it. They're evil. Remember back when the whole COVID thing happened, and I don't have TikTok, never have, never will, but you remember all the dances, the nurses dancing, like the hospitals are overwhelmed and the nurses are all doing, box steps and jazz hands, remember? Like it was a musical theater production? Same people. Remember that. Same people. They were overwhelmed, right? And just to prove this to you, this came out last week. This is a comedian. He's dry wit humor. Anybody know who this is? Yeah, I've seen him. Okay, yeah, He's a comedian, he's funny, he's very sarcastic, very witty. His name's J.P. Sears, and he has a huge YouTube channel, huge YouTube following. And what he does is he mocks all of this nonsense. This came out last week because Vanderbilt Medical Center had videos circulating around the internet of Vanderbilt doctors talking about how much money they make off of this whole gender reassignment surgery thing. You probably saw this circulated all over the internet. So here's a 5-minute video. I just want you to see this. Vanderbilt University, okay? That's in our state. This is in Tennessee. You'll see video. He's making fun of it all. You'll see video of them talking about how much money they make off of all this nonsense that they're propagating in the media. Roll it.
Hey, how are ya? I'm Dr. Dahmer with Vanderbilt Hospital. We're proud to offer industry-leading medical mutilation services for your children. Nowhere else will you find a facility better equipped and more willing to do the unthinkable on your children who think what they see in the media is their path to happiness. Is your child feeling insecure, unhappy, uncomfortable? Well, those are very abnormal feelings for any child, and it can only mean one thing. Time for you to open your checkbook so we can start cutting away. Happiness is found on the inside, and you're never gonna find it unless you do some cutting. Your child will thank you now. And who knows if they will later or not. Sound too good to be true? Well, just take a recent look at our Vanderbilt Hospital administrators pledging to do what's right for our bottom line at the expense of your child.
These surgeries make a lot of money. So female to male chest reconstruction can bring in $40,000. A patient just on routine hormone treatment, who I'm only seeing a few times a year, can bring in several $1,000s, because that requires a lot of visits and labs. It actually makes money for the hospital. And female to male bottom surgeries, these are huge money makers. Again, I think this has to be an underestimate that they're quoting around $20,000 for a phalloplasty. There's been different things that I've read that said it could be up to $100,000. Dr. Winokur, who's our surgeon, says that there's entire clinics where the entire clinic is supported just by their phalloplasties, and that is like a fraction of the surgeries that they're doing. These surgeries are labor intensive, they require a lot of follow-ups, they require a lot of OR time, and they make money. They make money for the hospital.
If your child has a fully formed mind, evidenced by having believed in Santa Claus for many years, and has no solid sense of self, then they are an excellent candidate to be a good source of revenue for us. All we need from you as the parent is a little consent that society is currently doing its best to coerce out of you. Studies show that kids never change their mind, so affirming the sage-like wisdom of a 13-year-old with irreversible puberty blockers, chemical castration, and knives with gender-affirming blades is really the only real solution in our business plan. But you might be worried. Are there any dangers? Well, we can assure you there are absolutely no risks that matter to us. A study out of Sweden showed that suicide rates after transition surgery rose by 20 times in the next 10 to 15 years. And this could be your child if you allow it. But even if that happens by that time, you'll have already bolstered our revenue streams that we take an oath to do no harm to. So there's really nothing to worry about here. But does your child currently have suicidal thoughts? If so, it would be a mistake to get them help to address their mental health. Instead, we feel that addressing their physical body through irreversible changes is the only sensible thing to do here. After our safe and very hygienic disposal of your child's clippings, we think you'll be a very satisfied customer. But do you ever worry about a doctor's conscience to do no harm to their patients interfering with your child's treatment? Well, at Vanderbilt, you don't have to worry about the pesky conscience of doctors. Just take a look at this video of our hospital administrators addressing those extremist doctors.
If you are going to assert conscientious objection, you have to realize that that is problematic. You are doing something to another person, and you are not paying for the cost for your belief. But I just want you to take home that saying that you're not going to do something because of your conscientious, because of your religious beliefs, is not without consequences, and it should not be without consequences. And I just want to put that out there. We are given enormous. If you don't want to do this kind of work, don't work at Vanderbilt.
So you can sleep well at night knowing you can trust our doctors that we threaten to do to your child what's most profitable to us. Now, I think we can all look back and laugh at those silly times when doctors thought using leeches was an effective treatment. Ha! Those barbarians. Because now we live in an era where we know doctors using knives to remove your child's breasts and genitals is a far more effective, sophisticated treatment. At Vanderbilt, our doctors are trained to ignore the quackery of biology and instead use the hard science of ideology. And instead of abiding by the Hippocratic Oath, they abide by the oath of activism. And here's our pledge to you. As we continue progressing as a society, we at Vanderbilt will continue to consider other ways that we can better serve kids in our community by improving our profits. Like how about anorexia-affirming liposuction treatments? And maybe we could cut costs by doing away with our unnecessary expensive sanitizing surgical equipment policy. Perhaps implement healthy limb amputation-affirming surgeries. And call me a dreamer, but I also envision healthier profit outcomes by way of us selling our patients' organs on the black market. The point is, when you come to our facility, you get to be a part of the cutting edge that hacks into the healthy flesh of minors so we can profit like no one has before. And isn't that something you'd like to be a part of? Vanderbilt. Check us out and book your appointment today. All major credit cards are accepted.
You have to make fun of it, because otherwise, really, I mean, this is happening. It's unbelievable. Vanderbilt, Nashville, Tennessee, this state doing this. You know how many patients that used to go to Vanderbilt come here now? And the stuff that they have told me, that the doctors have told them, it's out of this world. I won't even get into it. I don't know. But some of it is in previous classes we'll go through. What I'm going to do is take you on a quick walk through part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you can go back on your own and say, oh yeah, that's what they told my mom. That's what they told my aunt. That's what they told me. Oh yeah, they told my kid that. You can go back and get the responses in the old classes. But let's blow through some current events. For some reason, people think that genocidal maniacs like Hitler are a thing of the past. Right, Jonathan? They just disappeared, went away. But in 2011, Bill Gates publicly said 3 separate times that he would lower the Earth's population with vaccines and reproductive health and medicine. He said those 3 things: vaccines, reproductive health, and healthcare. You can see it. And if you want to, go back and watch the eugenics agenda class, eugenics agendas. We just did that about a month or 2 ago, just to prove it all out. And the cult of modern death care and pharmakia. We show that video in a lot of classes. Insurance companies have noted a 40% increase in death. What's that going to do to insurance companies? You got it. Here we go. God heard the cries of Sodom. You ever wonder, I heard this the other day and I thought, of course, that makes sense. Who is crying? Was it the inhabitants of Sodom? The unrepentant inhabitants of Sodom? Or would it have been the children? Who was crying in Sodom? The kids. Now we're chopping off their parts. Get on the right side of history and choose the direction of your healthcare now. Wow, this is a downer, isn't it? This is a complete and total downer. Flaming train wreck. No, I'm just kidding. Next. So if you speak the truth, just understand it. You'll be hated and you'll be persecuted. And just like Sleepy Joe said last week, I have 2 words. Bring it on. 2 words. Made in America. It's comical, right? You can't believe it's actually... Are people falling for this? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. This right here, we had a phone call last week. This is to illustrate a point. Current events. This is to illustrate a point. So a guy calls last week and says, I work for Mr. So-and-so, big name here in Cleveland, owns half the town. Says, I work for so-and-so, and I've got all kinds of people that I'm going to bring to your office if everything works out. And, I want to, I want you to understand that money's no object, yada, yada, yada. Says, but, your chiropractor guy, Nadia, took this phone call, and she had her face in her hands the rest of the day. Here's why. So after he goes through the whole who I am and, all the money and all this stuff, he says, yeah, your chiropractor guy has to be able to tolerate me, because the last chiropractor I went to, I punched him in the face. Over the phone, dude tells you this. So let me get this straight. You've already admitted to being an out-of-control, abusive, narcissistic sociopath who throws names and money around, and you think you're going to walk in here and bark orders at me. That's funny. And you've already admitted all these things. Why would we ever open the door to your dumb ass? Why? Why would we do that? Why? We don't. That's why, next please, people have changed. Therefore, so has our selection process of who we even allow in our front door. The next thing that's happening is a coded key card on the front door. You mark my words. Especially when they drop the next pandemic, we're going to watch who walks in here. Everything's on camera already, but hey, I figure why not just put a keypad and just give people the code, and the ones who need it have it, and the ones who don't won't. But this is for your safety. It's not because we're paranoid. It's because we're trying to keep my staff, my wife, we're trying to keep my patients and myself safe from stupidity. So most doctors' offices aren't going to tell you that. One more video right here. And this one, some of you might have seen this. This is some denominational hierarchy, fake pastor with a couple of kids between them talking to a drag queen. Roll it.
Do you have any questions for Ms. Pentecost? Yeah, you like her eyeshadow. That's great. Yeah. Yeah, maybe she'll let you borrow it. When you're older, when you're allowed to wear makeup. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Well, one of the things I think is great about Miss Pentecost is she reminds us that we follow a God who calls us to not conform to things of this world. That we're supposed to be transformed by the renewal of our minds. And that means that what I think today may have to change tomorrow if I continue to renew my mind. And it's so cool that we serve a God that calls us to continue to grow and continue to change into something new. And to not be bound by the ways that the world confines us. Do you have any questions for Ms. Pentecost?
I mean, so that was, that's what's happening in your medical world. And then here's what's happening in your church world. This stuff's happening, and they're right out in the open, and they're showing you, and they're saying, we're coming for your kids. Dude, a drag queen and a fake pastor carrying on a conversation. I think he misquoted that part. Makes me sick. Another thing that makes me sick, this is just another flaming train wreck this is a lighthearted little hour of your life. We no longer recommend Dr. Bronner's products. We will discontinue use of their soap in this office. That is the only product out of stores that we still recommend, because year after year after year after year of watching this company get bought by Palmolive and this company get bought by Crest and this company get bought by Nestle, after years and years and years, we finally went and just said, you know what? Young Living. Young Living is a company too big to be bought. Their morals, their ethics are in place, but we still held on to Dr. Bronner's soap because you can use it for stinking everything. You can use it for dishes, laundry, your face, whatever. But today, we'll show you why. We're cutting it. It's the only product in stores. I'm telling you, your food better be coming from local Farmer Joe's instead of Costco's. Your food better be coming, the eggs and the milk and the chicken and the beef. You better figure this out, because they're going to start putting the crickets and the cockroach milk in your food. They're already doing it in your soap. Watch. A company's ability to be acquired or compromised is significantly increased when its products are sold in large national chain stores. That's why we don't often suggest companies like that. We'll continue to recommend reputable companies and companies that sell only to healthcare professionals. Doctorate degreed healthcare professionals. That's everything in the food room. You guys know you can't find it on a shelf at a store. We will not endorse a business that supports the lies propagated by the mainstream media. What do I mean by that? That's the head dude behind Dr. Bronner's. In the spirit of National Coming Out Day, which apparently was October 17th. I didn't know that, right? 11th, October 11th, National Coming Out Day. As if they didn't have a whole month. Pride Month, right? Why can't National Coming Out Day be during, the day after Father's Day, right? So David Bronner opens up about identifying as he, they which is plural because there are multiple demons in him, sharing that he isn't solely straight, gay, man, or woman. Let's co-create an accepting and loving world that recognizes and celebrates the complexity of the human gender experience. Read David's full blog post. And then this dude down here, mother of cat, or I guess, what is it? Is that dude, woman? Mother of cats. Let's just call it mother of cats. Here's to humans being who they are and not having to hide it from anyone. Confusion, demonic confusion. A dude, a grown-ass man with painted fingernails, a fur coat, dangly earrings, and cat ears. You're okay with that? Stay out of this office. Stay out of this office. Dr. Bronner's to provide psychedelic therapy as employee healthcare benefit. They're doing ketamine-assisted therapy to promote mental health. What is that? Ketamine. It's a horse tranquilizer, and they intravenously administer it to you under the guidance of on-staff, on-site psychiatrists. You all know how I love psychiatry, right? That's another reason. If you don't know what I'm talking about, watch Land of the Free, Home of the Crazed, and watch You Do Not Have a Chemical Imbalance, and you will learn everything you need to know about psychiatry. Our cosmic principles, yada, yada. So that's Dr. Bronner's for you. That's why you will no longer see that soap in our office. And that we just figured that out today. Thanks, Angie, for ruining the entire. Thanks, Angie. Yeah. The entire staff meeting this morning was all five of us just with our head in our hands going, this dude's wearing cat ears. All right, so since beginning in February 2014, I've heard and recorded these comments made to patients like yourselves. We do this for a few reasons. It's not to make fun of anybody. It's not to belittle. It's to wake you up. So A, to document the lunacy of what your healthcare, in quotes, believes and has become, as stated by varied medical professionals in various specialties. These beliefs are widespread across time and geographical location. That means all the people coming in here, other healthcare professionals delivering to me all of these comments. Most of them coming from other healthcare professionals, some of them just coming from patients. But these beliefs are widespread across time, and that means some of these people have been hearing this stuff since the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Some of them are hearing it 2 weeks ago. They went to a doctor, and the doctor said, your intestines are too long. Or they went to a doctor and the doctor said, well, we're going to have to stretch your esophagus. Like, where do they come up with these ideas? Where do they come up with these statements, right? So they're widespread, what I've noticed, over time and over geographical location. Doesn't matter if you go to a hospital in Washington State or you go to a hospital in Washington, D.C., you're going to hear this. You're going to hear some of this stuff. It's nuts. It's nuts. B, to emphatically prove the inaccuracy of the statements as documented by thousands of recorded and written testimonials after patients recover and awaken to true biblical healthcare. What do I mean by that? Go watch our testimonials or go look at our victory wall out front and you will see tens of thousands of testimonials harvested and gathered over the last 8-9 years. C, to echo the sentiment of our patients, many of whom are medical professionals who would be reprimanded or persecuted for making these things known. They are in disbelief just as I. Yeah, some of these people, they'd be called on the carpet for coming out and telling somebody that a doctor said some of this stuff. So they bring it to me and I unload it because what are they going to do to me? What are they going to do? D, to illustrate what your friends and family have been or will be told so as to prepare you to hear the same. Your loved one is in the hospital, you're going to hear some of this nonsense. I guarantee it. So let's just get right to it. Lies Doctors Tell Part 1. Now, if you want to go back and see, hey, that one's familiar to you, go back and check out, they're all on the website. They're all on the website. I'll just blaze through these. Number 1, your organ isn't working. How many of you in this room have heard that? A few of you. It's a safe drug as long as you're past the first trimester. What does that tell you? Chiropractic's only good for neck pain, back pain, headache. That's what most chiropractors think, right? You'll eventually have to learn to live with the pain. Pain clinics popping up everywhere. Pain clinics. The biggest epidemic going on right now, pain pills. Number 5, that's completely normal for your age. You'll hear that all day long. Number 6, stay away from salt. You've heard that since the 1970s. Number 7, you need 8 glasses of water per day. Lie. Number 8, you have to stop eating vegetables. They tell you that all day long. Number 9, your intestines are too long. See? You heard that one twice just in the last 5 minutes. Number 10, we need to constantly monitor your blood sugar, but sugar doesn't have any impact on your health. You can't make these up. You see why I wrote these down? And you know you've heard some of your relatives tell you that this is what a doctor told them. Am I right or am I right? Number 11, people are healthier now compared to the past. Lie. Number 12, stay out of the sun. It'll give you cancer. How'd that work out? In the last 40 years, 50 years of sunscreen, and the dermatology clinics are packed. Packed. Number 13, you'll die without this medication. I just love when people say, oh, the life-saving medications, life-saving medications. Name one. Name one. Number 14, implants are safe. You'll never need to replace them. 50 years after you're dead, they'll dig up your body and they'll still be there. That's nice. It's a pleasing thought for those with breast implants, right? Number 15, you have too much stomach acid. That's how they get you on Nexium and Zantac and all the other crap, all the proton pump inhibitors. They lie. That's a physiological impossibility for your body, by the way. I'll draw it out for you. You'll see it in about 30 seconds. It's like, yeah, that's a lie. There's no way your body can do that. Your body can't make too much stomach acid. I know. People are like, what? How can you say that? It's very simple. I'll show you if you want after we shut off the cameras. Number 16, they've lived a good long life. Time to let them go. We've done all we can do. Okay, so Lies Doctors Tell Part 2, here you go. Your condition is hereditary. Number 18, if you'd have waited 1 more month, you'd be dead. I love how they're able to tell the future. Number 9, you need this pill, but I wouldn't take it either. That's the doctor telling the patient, I wouldn't take the pill I'm giving you. You can't make this up. Number 20, sure, come off your meds, no big deal. Well, then why was I on them for 25 years? Huh. Your bladder's too small. You have baby skin. Oh, I love this one. See, this is great. People repeat this all the time. The doctor told me I'm in remission. Oh, are you really now? Number 24, let's wait 6 months and see if the lump gets bigger. Oh. What do you think the lump's going to do if you don't change anything? It's going to get bigger. It can, you got 1 of 2 options. It's a 50-50 shot, right? And if you don't do anything and you continue the same behavior, what's going to happen to Mr. Lump? Right. And the doctors know this. You see? Now, forget for a moment that this is unplanned or that these people don't know the answers to some of these questions. They're grown, adult, trained, doctorate level physicians who've had 8 or more years of college. They ain't stupid. They're robots, but they're not stupid. Understand that. But they're banking on you not thinking. 25, the benefits outweigh the risks. Yep, that's a lie. Next. 26, we need to keep your blood thin with baby aspirin. Everyone in this room has a relative that has heard that, if you haven't heard it. Number 27, your child has ADD and needs daily pharmaceuticals. How'd that work out since 45 years ago? By the way, you never see any autistic kids over 40 or 45. You ever notice that? And most of them, 95% of them are males. Let that sink in. There's a reason why. We'll talk about it. Number 28, let's just manage your pain. I just saw a billboard today here in Cleveland. There's a new pain doctor at the Cleveland Pain Clinic. Are you excited? I almost ran my car off the road. I was so excited. on the way to my natural holistic health office. Number 29, we've done everything we can do. You lying sack of crap. No, you have not, and you know it. Don't try to sound heroic. We've done all we can do. No, you haven't. How about one thing you could do is maybe teach people to change their diet before you drug them senseless and send them to the nursing home 30 years ahead of time. You lie. You lie, you lie, you lie. Number 30, we don't know what causes it, but the drug will fix it. Can't make this up. Number 31, the drugs are finally working. Oh, I love that one. Number 32, if you're 2 inches shorter, insurance will cover your gastric bypass. That's the truth. That's the truth. If your BMI is a certain range, the insurance will cover your gastric bypass. And we can change your BMI ratio by making you a little bit shorter. That's how that works. You love your insurance, don't you? Makes me sick. Makes me sick. People argue with me to my face. Dudes will say that their knee replacement didn't cost them a dime. I say, were you Navy SEAL? Were you Special Forces? Like the government was paying for your knee operations? No. Well, did you pay premiums? Yeah. Then you paid for your knee replacements. Dummy. Yeah. They don't think it. They're just years of brainwashing, years of programming. Number 33, it's just a vestigial organ left over from evolution. You'll be fine without it. They say this, oh, don't laugh. I mean, this is your tonsils. This is your wisdom teeth. This is your appendix, your gallbladder. That's how they get you. And then, there's 4. Okay. And then let's see, if they take out your uterus and your ovaries, and then if you have a bad time with a lung or a kidney, I've seen somebody walk in here missing 7 organs. Number 34, we can stop the bleeding with a hysterectomy. That one goes with 33. Number 35, the shot is safe and effective. Have you guys heard that at all in the last 3 years? It's been happening for 3 years. People are still wearing diapers on their faces. Still. I saw a dude yesterday. Oh, number 36, your medications shouldn't cause any interactions. I love how they plugged in their crystal ball for that one right there as well. By the way, who in here is medical? Nurse of how long?
Over 50 years.
Over 50-year nurse. Who else? Yes?
30 years.
30 years? Nurse practitioner?
Yeah.
Point out, right on camera, point out if I'm lying on any of these. Have you guys heard some of these?
Oh, yes.
Of course. So we've got medical professionals in-house, just FYI. So if somebody wants to come against me and go, oh, no, that's not true, guess what? You're going to hear from some medical professionals later on. Just keep watching. Your medication shouldn't cause interactions. Your diet looks just fine to me. Eat anything you want. Your blood looks fine to me. It's all within normal limits. Within normal limits means your blood labs, compared to all the other sick people, looks exactly the same. That's what that means. Number 39, your intestinal problems are completely unrelated to your diet. Cannot tell you how many patients have come in here and had their guts ripped out, and they didn't need to. Now they've got sacs and pouches. It's bone on bone. You're going to need surgery. You lie. You lie. Number 41, he might never walk again or talk again. Don't you love how they pronounce demonic curses over you, get you to come in alignment with them and accept them? That's one right there. Number 42, we need more imaging to be sure. So we got to do a CAT scan, an MRI. We got to do some x-rays too, just to make sure. The reaction definitely wasn't because of the drug or vaccine. Once again, crystal ball, designer crystal ball right there. Number 44, sleep apnea is deadly. You need a CPAP. Tell that to every one of my patients who no longer needs a CPAP. Yep, sleep apnea, it's deadly. It's deadly. It's time for your colonoscopy. That's a lie. And insert, it's time for your mammogram. That's a lie. Infant well baby visits are necessary for healthy children. Y'all know what happened to the kids in the last 40, 50 years, right? They're all defective for the most part. Your vitamin D level's all right. Just don't go over 60 or 70 nanograms per milliliter. But they don't want you to be healthy, so they tell you don't you dare get it over 100, which is what I recommend. Pound vitamin D like it's your job. But that's neither here nor there. Number 48, we should do the surgery before your insurance runs out. You've heard that one, right? That's not necessarily a lie. They want to milk your insurance. But you get the point. Birth control pills and the HPV vaccine, Gardasil, will not license your daughter for promiscuity. Yep, I've heard that before. Yep. Number 50, that's not possible. That's a lie. Once again, they would have to have the supreme, omniscient, omnipotent knowledge of God or have one heck of a crystal ball in order for that statement to not be a lie. 51, the antidepressants, fill in the blank with whatever drug, won't harm your fetus. They're fine during pregnancy. There's nothing but time that can help this. You lie. We'll schedule your surgery. Keep taking your drugs, but stop all your supplements. It's normal to leak urine after childbirth. Kegels won't help. It's time for your mammogram. If you're going to be around your grandkids, you should get your DTaP shot. Oh, don't you love it? Your kids should never be around those who are unvaccinated. Nausea, bloating, pain are normal during pregnancy. That's a lie. Not normal during pregnancy. Normal in, from 1960s onward, perhaps, because of the food and the crap drugs. We'll schedule your C-section when the time is right. C-section, #1 surgery in the United States. Completely 100% unnecessary. People had babies for 6,000 years before they started ripping you out. Your diabetes is not yet bad enough for a drug. Kids don't get fevers when they're teething. Kids get fevers because they're teething. Oh, the way they do this. Now that you're 65, you need to come in every 3 months because things are going to start happening to you. You're laughing. Why? Because that's fake? That's true. We don't know what's wrong. Your child must be allergic to breast milk. Sounds legit. Why wouldn't a kid be allergic to its own mother, right? Stupid. Next. Baby's allergic to its mother. There's the next one. Your internal thermostat's broken. That's when they tell women their thyroid's dead. Don't drink water, drink Gatorade. You need those fake electrolytes. Electrolytes, big word for salt and sugar. They tricked you. Those fancy Gatorade commercials with the athletes, with the sweat running down, they tricked you. Electrolytes, sugar and salt. That's all it is. If you've been dealing with it for 2 years, it's probably nothing serious. Oh, I love this one. We took out your gallbladder during your gastric bypass. Your mother also had her gallbladder removed. Your problem's genetic. They went in to bypass your stomach. They took your gallbladder. Would you be pissed? He didn't care. Your child was born without an immune system. Lie. Then the child would not be born. You see how just in your face these are? Swelling at the site of injection is perfectly normal. We need to do an ultrasound. Oh, yeah. And this is part 5, okay? This is the last one. We did this a few months ago. We need to do an ultrasound to check for any birth defects. It amazes me that people will run and have ultrasonic sound waves pumped through their fetus before the kid's born, and they'll do it 4, 5, 6 times. Let that sink in, because they were told they should. The mistake families make is to feed their dying loved ones. It only makes it harder for the body to shut down. Sound familiar? Couldn't believe that one. That's what they told my mom, just to let my dad die. That's what they told my mom right there. Bastards. Next. It's probably silent acid reflux. Your infant has low iron. You've been scheduled for your wellness exam. Your kids can't do breast milk, so just do chocolate milk, Pediasure, and candy bars. I could not believe that one. Could not believe that one. If you don't get that gallstone removed, it could cause cancer. Isn't that peachy? That's just peachy. Wait, where the? Young man, drugs are for sale, not to be taken. If you want to hear the history of the Upjohn Pharmacia stuff that happened before Pfizer, go check that one out. That's in part 5. It's a story about a naturopath named Upjohn. Yes, your 1-year-old gets the same dose of antibiotics as your 4-year-old. It's perfectly fine. Oh, the drugs are finally working. See, I worked that one in again because you hear that all the time. Next. You have polyps in your gallbladder. Never heard of it. You ever heard of it? Have you ever heard of it? Polyps in your gallbladder? Me either. Neither had that nurse that told me that. A doctor told the patient, your gallbladder needs to come out because the water in eastern Tennessee is so bad. I've heard that from multiple people. So see, across time and geographical location, because I've heard that from multiple people. Doctors are telling people this. We have to put you on blood pressure meds before we do your surgery. You know who that's for? Is that for the patient or is that for the CYA of the hospital? CYA of the hospital. If you don't use a CPAP, you could suffocate. Don't eat dark greens. They cause kidney stones and will make them worse. Your elderly mother is so ravaged by dementia that she can't tell us which drugs she is taking. Well, she told them that she wasn't on any drugs. And they said, oh, she must have dementia. Obviously, she's old enough. She's got to be on a bunch of drugs. That patient, her daughter, who was the patient here, was so mad. Couldn't even believe it. I said, why'd you go back? Oh, I don't know. If you have 2 teeth to extract, insurance will pay. If you only get 1 extracted, you have to pay. I've heard that a couple times too. Is that right? That's happened to somebody? Okay. Here's a lie. I love this one. We got the whole tumor. Fake. Chemotherapy and radiation are your only hope. Once again, omniscient creator knowledge right there. We need imaging for condition XYZ. That's a lie. No, you don't. You have to have a C-section. You ran out of amniotic fluid and your placenta is old. How old would her placenta be? Not older than 9 months. See? See how simple this is? It stopped pumping blood like it should. Your placenta's old. How many women believe this? Oh, here's one I just thought of I should include. Here's another one too. You've heard this. We can't find a heartbeat. That's a lie. We'll talk about that later. Yeah, but where is it? We can't do surgery on you or your tumor until we fatten you up. You have to eat sugar, Hostess cakes, and Dr. Pepper. I'm serious. That's what they tell people. Number 93, you're just a bleeding child. Wow. Your right thumb's not connected to your left thumb. We have to look at your kidney labs, make sure they're healthy enough, since we're going to have to put you on another heart drug. What are they really saying right there? We have to see if your kidney's healthy enough to handle another poison. See? When you look through it logically and you think, what are they really saying? That's what they're saying. And number 96, the part 5 last time, just ice it and elevate it. And that was concerning a 5-year-old's testicle that swelled up after a vaccine. So the doctor just told the mom, just ice it and elevate it. I'd love to see that. That'd be interesting. Okay. And here's a little commercial break. This is Krista. Go ahead and play that. Commercial break.
Hi, my name is Krista, and I've been a member of Divine Design for a little over 2 months now. I came in because I was experiencing pretty bad fatigue. I was really caffeine dependent. I had pretty severe neck pain, and I was suffering from frequent colds and allergies. It's something that I just thought I was gonna have to live with. You know, people have allergies, people get colds, people are tired because they work, and I thought that was just something I was gonna have to live with. But since I've been coming here and been on the supplements and doing the chiropractic, the saunas, the PEMF therapy, and the foot spas, I feel so much better. My fatigue has pretty much gone. After work, I can go work out, I can cook dinner, and I don't feel tired. My neck pain is gone, and I haven't had a cold or allergy symptoms since I started here. So I definitely recommend this place. You know, you don't have to live with things that seem really common or that people tell you have to live with. My life's been changed, and it definitely is because of Divine Design.
All right. We usually do some memes, but we passed up the memes this week just to keep it straight. And go one at a time. Back up. So this is part 6 right here. Okay, so this is the new stuff. Any of those old things you want to go back and listen to, and some of them I explain in detail, like why they can't be true, and other times I just explain the lunacy of it, or I explain a certain situation where a parent heard this from somebody. It's fascinating. So if you have some time, go back, watch parts 1 through 5, and look forward in the new year to part 7 coming up. But in the meantime, enjoy part 6. Number 97. Some babies just don't poop. Excuse me, what? Some babies just don't poop. Obviously, this doctor is more experienced than I am because I don't think that that's possible that some babies just don't poop. What's the story? Back up. Jonathan, you're getting ahead of me, brother. So baby got his hepatitis vaccine, and he instantly went from healthy to not healthy. Let's just say that. And he went 10 days without pooping. That statement is what the doctor told the mother. When your kid is laying there injured from a vaccine, constipated for 10 straight days, and that's your doctor's answer. Because see, here's the deal. He can drug that kid, he can shoot that kid up with all kinds of stuff, but what's he going to do? He's going to provide a poison, which the kid's body then has to do what with? It has to deal with it. So the kid's already chock full of poison because he hasn't pooped in 10 days, and then the doctor's going to put another poison in him. That's why their insurance malpractice is through the roof, people, because you're playing with toxic chemical poisons. And an overdose or cutting of a nerve with a scalpel, that's why their malpractice insurance is through the roof. That's why, who gets to pay for that? Does the doctor pay for that or does the patient pay for that? Ding, ding, ding. Patients pay for that. What's my malpractice per year? Anybody? Adjusting people's necks and spines.
0.
Close, $1,800. Insurance companies do the math, right? So let that sink in. Number 98. Sometimes babies just die. What do they call that? Sudden infant death syndrome, which their syndrome means they don't know what causes it, but you've got a sudden, quick onset, infant, small human, death syndrome. Sudden infant death syndrome, right? Can't figure out why these babies are dying? What could it possibly be? Well, I don't know. Let's just use a current example of something called sudden adult death syndrome. What have the adults all been experiencing prior to dropping dead? Shots. But it's not the shots. So what else could it possibly be? Has to be the shots. What else has happened in the last 2 years where people would just drop dead? So sudden infant death syndrome, now we have sudden adult death syndrome. That's a thing, but it's definitely not because of the lethal injection. I just want you to know that. Everybody clear? Number 99. We have to reduce your fever. Your brain will cook itself. I've covered this in other classes. You guys have all heard this. If you're a mom, they make you deathly afraid of a kid having a fever. But is a fever a bad thing, or is the fever the body trying to cook the critters? It's a good thing. So why do they make people so afraid? We get people calling all the time. Oh, my kid's got a 103 fever. Great. What? Great. What do you mean? Great. That's what I mean. Don't worry about it. Just don't wrap your kid in a blanket. He'll be fine. He'll be okay. That's your body trying to get rid of. Now, there are things that we can do to help. There are things that we can do. Their body's starving. That's what's happening. But you don't have to reduce their fever. Brain will cook it. Your brain's not going to cook itself. See, they make you always think that your body is against you. Never believe anyone that tells you your body is not your friend. Your body wants you to live more than you want to live, right? Your brain's not going to cook itself, I can assure you. Fevers, if you want to know more about fevers, go watch the autoimmune class, go watch the, all the COVID's classes. We had class every week in 2020 when everybody was freaking out about the COVIDs, and we told people, here's what's coming, here's what's going to happen, here's the vaccine, here's what they're going to do. It's going to be some kind of trackable, traceable thing. They thought we were crazy. They removed us from YouTube. They removed us from Vimeo. Here we are 2.5 years later, people still wearing diapers, and they're wondering why they're having heart attacks. Number 100. Yay! Ha! We can give it to you for free. Just fill out the paperwork, and you get your blood thinner free for 1 year. Then we'll go from there. So this was a guy that had insurance coverage, and he quit his job. So he called the company to get like a low income, continuation of the medication. Because at the time, before he came here, he thought he had to have the life-saving medication, right? So basically, he had one prescription for a blood thinner. It was $180 a month. So he thought, well, I could get this for free, and all I got to do is give them my bank account statement or my credit card number or whatever. Or give them the bank account number, like direct, what do you call it? Direct deposit, or it would be directly deposited or debited. Thank you. Or a credit card number. So he said the company knows that people will eventually figure out how to pay it, and they'll just stick it on a credit card. So that's an insurance company saying we can give it to you for free. For a first year, you get it for free, but then we charge you $180 a month for the rest of your life because by then you're hooked and you think you have to have it. It's all psychological operations on these people. That's what they're doing. And we'll get further into that. The last one tonight will have you clutching, pulling your hair out of your head. Right, Gordon? Right? Perfect. Number 101. I love this one. This drug does not go into your blood. Same as the vaccine. It just stays right here. Isn't that great? This drug, don't even got to worry about it. Doesn't go in your blood. Who in here could tell me where the drug would go then? What other options are there? Medical professionals? Anybody? What other options are there? It goes everywhere. So a doctor told a patient that. It's crazy. And you know what? This was actually by a patient. We were talking about Vanderbilt earlier. This was actually, she told me this. The reason she came here was she and her daughter were going to Vanderbilt, and she got a little suspicious when Vanderbilt put a contract in front of her that made her sign off her rights about not going to any other doctors. She got a little suspicious, and that's what landed her here. They drive 3 hours away to come here. She told me about that. All right, number 102. This is typical for a snake bite. You want to know what's typical for a snake bite? Right here. Ready? Tell me if this sounds right. Dude got bit by a copperhead. The hospital, here's what they wanted. X-rays, tetanus shot, antibiotic shot, and an overnight stay in the ICU. It's typical. That's for a snake bite. X-rays. Why would you take X-rays for a snake bite? Right. Makes no sense. Tetanus shot. Why would you give tetanus shot for a snake bite? Antibiotic shot. Why would you give an antibiotic shot for a snake bite? And then an overnight stay in the ICU. So 4 things right there that you can bill, and bill for. That's why. All right. So number 103. I love this one. We'll take great care of you. We'll take great care of you. Yeah, what's the story on this one? This was a patient's uncle. They were paying, I'll never forget this. They were paying about 10 grand a month for him to stay in a nursing home. And one time she went to visit him and they hadn't changed his clothes for 10 days. That's your health care. That's your health care. You want that? I don't want that. I want nothing to do with that. People think they have to have it though. Those life-saving medications, and they have to go get their colonoscopies, and they have to get their mammograms, because they watch too much TV, and they think they have to, because it's programming, it's brainwashing. Number 104. We don't know what this is, but we know that sleep has nothing to do with you getting better. I'm dead serious, dead serious. Somebody told me about this one. This was also at Vanderbilt, actually. There's a pattern forming here. I don't get it. We have patients here from Johns Hopkins. We have patients here from Mayo Clinic. We have patients here from MD Anderson. We have patients here from Vanderbilt. It's great. So an RN told me that there is a policy in most hospitals to get vitals at certain times. Now, how many of you have ever seen somebody in the hospital and they're coming in every few hours to take blood and to test them and to take their blood pressure and to take blood, and then they come back 4 hours later and they take blood pressure and then they come back. And you just want to say, why can't you just let them sleep? Well, she said there's a policy. This is a patient. She's RN. She said it's a policy in most hospitals to get vitals at 8 p.m., midnight, and 4 a.m. You weigh them and you drug them from 6 to 9 a.m. Breakfast is at 8 a.m. You check their sugar at 12. Interesting, though, that she said codes are often called around midnight or 4 a.m. by a stroke or an MCI. MCI is a myocardial infarction, so it's a heart attack. So a stroke in the brain or an MCI in the heart, codes are often called around 12 or 4. 12 in the morning or 4 a.m. Does everybody get that? Why would that be happening at 12 a.m. or 4 in the morning? She told me this, and I was like, you got to be kidding me. Huh?
They're not resting.
They're not resting. They're waking them up every 4 hours because they know sleep has everything to do with getting you better. Everything to do. It's sickening. And I find it interesting too that when somebody died in the Bible, how did they die? If they got old and it was old age, right? How'd they die? They went to sleep. When would you normally be going to sleep? Wouldn't it be right around this time? You'd be sleeping, right? At 12 or 4 a.m. Unless you're in a hospital and you've got somebody shaking you to take your blood pressure or to draw your blood, check your blood sugar, which what are they going to do about it at 12 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning? Stupid, 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 stupid. But people line up for this crap every day. People in this room have other people in the hospital right now going through that. It's a travesty and it's just inhumane. Inhumane. Number 105. We need to convert you to hospice. Why would they want to convert you to hospice? Any idea?
Get you out. Get rid of you.
I've had multiple people tell me that if you have a death in the hospital, it's a ding on the hospital's record. So they want to convert you over to hospice to get you out. Never knew that. Had multiple people tell me that. You got to be quickly converted to hospice to avoid getting a ding. And along that line, I saw there was a hospice car that was I was going somewhere one time driving through Cleveland. There was a hospice car in front of me, and it had right on the back, it said "No drugs on board," written in big red letters on the trunk. Why would that be? They have to let people know if you're going to rob this car because it's a hospice car. Why would you rob that car? You're not taking money. Why would you rob a hospice car? To get drugs, right? So they're saying no drugs in this car to deter people from stealing the drugs from the hospice car because they're widely known to be carrying a lot of drugs. That's your AMA. Those are your medical doctors. What's the name of this class? Lies Doctors Tell, Part 6, right? Here's a good one. I love this one, 106. Your heart's stronger than it's ever been. How could that be possible? How could that be possible? Probably talking to an older patient, right? Wouldn't his heart have been in a younger state prior to this conversation? So that's a lie in and of itself. But here's the kicker. So the doctor says this to a patient. So the relative, who's a patient of mine, sitting on a table looking up at me, telling me the story because he couldn't believe it. The patient said, or the relative says, well, the doctor said this to you, your heart's stronger than it's ever been. So the relative said, well, then get off the heart meds. And then the patient said, well, I can't. And then the relative said, well, why not? And then the patient said, because I'll die. And then the relative said, well, your heart's not stronger than it's ever been then, is it? People don't think. They don't think. The last chiropractor I had, I punched him in the face. That's this guy. Your heart is not stronger than it's ever been. I hope he finds a good chiropractor. I really do. This one, one of the staff here told me this one. You're allergic to water. They actually told her that. It's funny because your body's 70 or 80% water, right? So that's funny. See, they play with you. It's like they don't think that... They don't think you'll figure it out. That's how stupid they think you are. Which is closely related to 108, which is you're allergic to sunlight. And no, this patient wasn't a vampire at all. They told him, you're allergic to sunlight. Unbelievable, right? Oh, it's crazy, crazy, crazy. 109, we're almost done. Your knees are really loose. No running or athletics for you, loser. Your knees are really loose. And I love it when they say to kids, 8 and 10 and 12-year-old kids, I love when they tell kids, oh yeah, you've got a heart valve problem, you can't do any athletics. So then the kid grows up being afraid that they're going to have a heart attack and drop dead on a basketball court. So they never move, and they're sedentary, and they play video games, not even thinking that their heart valve has to grow as they age, and it has to replace itself, even while it's beating. How does your body do that? Cell replacement. So what does your body use to replace that heart valve? Food, right? But if you're eating crap food, are you going to have a good heart valve in 5 years? No. That's the only way it happens. That's the only way it happens. You're not going to have a magical heart valve from a drug. FYI. Just FYI. Crazy. I know it sounds, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I know. Love this one. 110. Your stomach lining is too thin. It simply can't handle food. But you should, have you heard this one? Your stomach lining is too thin. Which goes along with one of my favorites. Your intestines are too long. We're going to have to remove about 10 or 12 inches. See, it's always God's fault or it's your body's fault for messing up. But it's never them being unable to explain why you're poisoned to death. Crazy. Number 111. Love this one. Your uterus fell out. Where did it go? You just popped a leak on the highway. It's in the rearview mirror. Your uterus is in your rearview mirror. Jesus. Grown adults telling other grown adults something like this. But even if somebody has a prolapse, can you fix it? Yeah, what holds the uterus in place? Ligaments. What are ligaments made of? Protein. What are people not eating? Protein. So would their uterus slip? But can you put it back where it needs to go? Medicine will never tell you this. Medicine will never tell you this, but guess what? I'm not medical. I do this thing called chiropractic, and it's wonderful because it's laying on of hands, right? And you can move things. We've fixed some prolapses, uterine and bladder prolapses, just FYI. Oh, 112. We left the pain patch inside you after your knee replacement surgery. Don't worry, it's a new thing. Oh, a guy with, his knee had a knee surgery, and the doctor told him, we left the pain patch inside you. It's a new thing. Does that sound like a good idea to you? Oh, yeah. Number 113, it's just a harmless birth control pill to help with pain and bleeding. Say that 3 times fast. Harmless birth control pill. Harmless birth control pill. Harmless birth. Do you get it? It's not harmless. It can abort a fetus, but it's going to help you with pain and bleeding. I know. It's crazy. An abortion pill is not harmless, folks. Oh, 114. Here we go. Tinnitus is common at your age. It's harmless. Just ignore it. In both ears. Just ignore it. Oh, number 1 cause of tinnitus. Anybody? This is the ironic catch-22 right here. So you got a doctor telling a patient tinnitus is common at your age, it's harmless, just ignore it, for 2 reasons. Number 1, there is no drug that will affect tinnitus. That's number 1. Number 2, what's the number 1 cause of tinnitus? Blood pressure drugs. See, there's no answer because he's causing it. And your murder care is paying for it. Yes, I said murder care. Oh, 115. Oh, yes, you're asymptomatic. You have diabetes with no symptoms. I love that one. You know how many people they can get on diabetes drugs just by scaring them with the D word? You have diabetes, but I didn't even, well, no, yeah, that's asymptomatic. You don't have any symptoms. What other disease was asymptomatic? COVID, yes. Number 116, your diet has nothing to do with your diabetes or your blood sugar. Now, people who come here, they know better. Where does your blood sugar come from? What you eat. How many people do you think out there actually know that? People don't know that. People have no idea. So they keep taking the metformin, and they keep doing the glucose monitors, and they keep poking their finger. They have absolutely no idea that their diabetes, that their blood sugar comes from their mouth, what they ate. They have no idea. Nobody's ever told them. I've had RNs here as patients who were diabetes educators that we interviewed for a class called the Mystery Speaker Panel Discussion. It was the medical professionals class. You can go back and watch. We had 3 nurses and and Lauren was there. Lauren's a nutritionist, Lauren, who works for us. All 4 of them trained healthcare professionals, and they were never told that blood sugar came from your diet. Crazy. It's crazy. How many million people have diabetes in the United States? Tens of millions. Tens of millions. They don't know. 117, your fat rolls are genetic. I heard this one, number 118. Give your kids the brat diet, bananas, rice, applesauce, and toast. And don't forget the Pedialyte. I heard this one about a month ago. Somebody told me that. And they said, that's the most common, that's what all the pediatricians tell moms to feed their kids. I said, I've never heard of this. For diarrhea, yeah. I left that part out. Yeah, for diarrhea, yeah. Yeah, it's not just to feed them this every day, no.
Not just because they're brats.
Yeah, but I thought, God, how messed up is that? Not only are they telling you that you have a brat as a child, underhandedly, right? But they're telling you sugar, 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 and burnt sugar. You see that? Isn't that interesting? Out of all the things they could tell you to eat to fix diarrhea, and that's what they tell you. Then they tack it on another step from Abbott Laboratories, the makers of Ensure and Pediasure. They say, well, go ahead and don't forget the Pedialyte. He's got to have his electrolytes, which is Pedialyte. If you look at the ingredients, it's chemicals, and sugar, and synthetic vitamins, all made by a laboratory company called Abbott Labs. This is what your pediatricians are telling you to feed your kids. And I put it on a board in my room. I just put BRAT and I put bananas, rice, applesauce toast. And every mom that came in said, oh, are you teaching people the brat diet? Everybody knew it. I'd never heard of it until about a month ago. So see, these are widely spread across time and geographical location. Because some of the moms coming in here, they're from California, they're from New York, they're from Florida, but they live here now. But when they had kids, they were in different states, 3,000 miles away. How does everybody know this? It's interesting, isn't it? Mass psychosis. It's interesting. Number 119. Oh, I love this. It's a myth that girls need to have a period. You know, every time I do one of these classes, it just becomes more and more apparent to me that we are just fighting a complete and total attempt to overtake the sanity of this world. That's biblical, okay? The whole 28-day thing. So I won't get into that right now. However, one of my patients overheard this in a conversation. She said this. They texted us, and they were so pissed. They couldn't believe it. And they put it in quotes. This is what the woman said. Our pediatrician said, it's a myth that girls need to have a period. My daughters, multiple, are all on the pill and have never had a period. My daughters, multiple, so more than one, are all on the pill, so that tells me there's more than two, are all on the pill. See what you can just read into a sentence just by the way somebody says it? My daughters, multiple, are all, you'd say both. If it was just two, you'd say both. But all 3 or 4 of my daughters, right, because people only have daughters these days. People aren't having sons anymore, right? All my daughters are on the pill and they've never had a period. So let me think. What's that doing to their toxin level in their body? What's that doing to their endometriosis and their fibroids and their ovarian cysts? What's that doing to their ability to procreate? What's that doing to their fertility? What's it doing to their hormones? No telling. Who knows? Why? Because you'd have to factor in their crappy food, how many drugs beyond the birth control pills their daughters are on, all the other toxins and crap they're spraying on and in and up their bodies, and then whether they go to Vanderbilt to get a gender reassignment surgery. I mean, it's a mess. It's an absolute catastrophe. It's a clown show. And these medical doctors that think they're gods are telling people just asinine lunacy like this. And they have the audacity to call somebody like me with tens of thousands of testimonials a quack. Very interesting. So interesting. Oh, 120. Here we go. I can tell you're uncomfortable. We can book you into the hospital next week and give you some medications to help. This is for an induction. Okay? So at the 36-week visit, an OB said this to a mom. And when the OB says medications, what does that mean? That means induction drugs, right? Think about this. How many emergency C-sections are the result of induction drugs given to the patient prior? How many emergency? I had to go in and have an emergency C-section. No, you didn't. They told you that. I get it. That's what they told you. Induction drugs. There you have it. 121. We got all the tumor except one little spot. Well, why didn't they get the one little spot? Oh, Gordon, you're a genius. Now you need radiation, but just relax. The radiation isn't as bad as it used to be. Do you believe that? This is what people are being told. Oh, and last but not least, here goes. Ready? There's a light on the pill bottle. This isn't a lie. This is just so out there in your face. I had to put it word for word. There's a light on the pill bottle that goes off at 7:30. If you don't take the pill by 8:30, you'll get a text or a call from the doctor's office. That's not a lie. That's not a lie at all. How do I know? Check this out. AdhereTech's smart pill bottle knows when you take and miss your medication. What's the date for the nosebleed section? January 8th of 2014. That's 8 years ago. Oddly enough, that's a month before I got into practice. Didn't even know these things existed until a couple weeks ago. See, I'm always learning too. Somebody came in and told me this is the stuff that they gave his wife when they were killing her with chemotherapy. It's unbelievable. I'll read this to you for the nosebleeds. For some people, taking medication on time every day is a matter of life and death. Really? Do you know any life-saving medications? A nurse for 50-something years? Any life-saving medications? How long you been an NP?
20 years as an MP.
20 years as an NP? So we got 70 years of in-the-trenches medical experience in this room, and you don't know a life-saving drug. Okay. AdhereTech has created a newer version of its original smart pill bottle prototype. So what was the old one? That wants to take the pressure off these who need to take pills on a regular basis. The bottle tracks the opening and closing of the child-proof cap, how much medication is removed, and sends that information via cell phone technology to doctors and pharmacists who can monitor it because they're sitting there wondering about whether you took your pills or not. During the window of time that the patient needs to take medication, the bottle's small light indicators glow blue, and if the bottle isn't open, they turn red and beep to remind the patient to take the pills. If the medicine isn't taken, the patient receives a phone call or a text message alert as an additional reminder. This was 8 years ago. So it's planned, scheduled poisoning, genocide, on schedule by artificial intelligence. The form factor may look a little strange and sterile at first, but that's exactly how AdhereTech wanted it. Of course they would. The bottle can hold about double the capacity of the standard size pill bottle. Yes. And according to CEO Joshua Stein, what nationality do you think he is? The company wanted the final product to look like an expensive medical device because people have an addiction to expensive medical devices. They implant them here in different places. It has flat sides, making it easier for a pharmacist to stick prescription labels on it, and the company made it in a kind of oval shape, so it would be super easy to grip for elderly patients who have been so cut up by medicine and so drugged out of their minds that they won't drop it out of their hand. That's what that says. The pill bottle's design is also directly related to its function. Stein says that at first, it wasn't easy to get the sensors that control the bottle into the product. They finally came up with this form factor, one that holds capacitive sensors at the base of the bottle and on its inner walls to detect and measure exactly how much medication is removed each time it's opened. That'll come in handy, note this, not only if a patient didn't take their pills, but also if they took too many. See, it's all about your health and safety, right? The notification message can be sent to the patient as well as to any caregivers they have, so there's always someone who can account for the use or misuse of pills. They can be misused. There it is. Isn't that interesting? 8 years ago, God knows what they have now. AdhereTech's already partnering with universities and hospitals. They left out a word. Churches. To give the pill bottle to patients with expensive medication that needs to be taken on a daily basis. That needs to be taken on a daily basis. There's no drug out there that needs to be taken on a daily basis. Cancer and HIV patients are the main focus right now, but eventually the bottle could come to consumers for any kind of medication. Oh my goodness, how wonderful. AdhereTech is already working on a bottle redesign to make it cheaper and easier to manufacture, which means, what does that say right there? More profit for them. See how they put that there? And if they can do that, you may not ever have to stress about missing your meds again. Because I know you're stressing and I'm stressing that people aren't taking enough drugs. Nuts, isn't it? Nuts. All right, final commercial break. There we go. Some of you may recognize this one. Go ahead and play it.
Hey, my name's Linda, and I've been at Divine Design for 10 months. I have a really huge problem with Dr. Spradlin and his staff because I have needed to go shopping for clothes. I was a size 10, 8, 10, 12 when I started and went shopping this weekend, and I was blown away. I went down to a size 0/2. Amazing, just amazing. Didn't think that this would ever happen just from eating real food and taking supplements. Absolutely crazy. I feel awesome. I feel happy. It's just really cool. So if you're looking to make a change, come on down. They'll help you.
Just notice that you have never seen somebody walk out of a doctor's office with a new cholesterol-lowering drug and seen them dance around saying, I finally found the right drug. I feel so much better. And you've had millions, by this point in the United States, billions of opportunities to see that. See? Billions of opportunities. To, 330 million people in the United States, probably 250 million of them are on regular meds. So when we make the statement that people are medicated, vaccinated, glyphosated, indoctrinated, irradiated, cosmeticated, we make that statement. You have to take that into consideration. Why aren't people acting right? They're being mind controlled. Yeah, like that guy. Riding a donor cycle 70 miles an hour down to 45. That's why they call them donor cycles. Okay, well, yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out. When you're talking to people, you're not often talking to people anymore. You need to start thinking, like, is this conversation really worth having? Because you never know. The guy might call you on the phone and say, I punched my last chiropractor in the face. He better, this chiropractor, he better get it right, or I might punch him in the face too. That's the way people are. People have changed. Things have changed. Therefore, that front door has changed. That we don't have to take you. We don't. I mean, I don't mean that to be harsh. I mean that to be very focused. I mean that to be, I would rather, focus. 20% of your patients will cause 80% of your problems. And that doesn't just mean patients. That means family members, people at work. Same thing. Those people who are high risk or high necessity or high, high maintenance. Yeah, thank you. People who are high maintenance, they don't last here. We just have a wonderful way of weeding them out. And we chill them down and say, think like a human. Get rid of this crap that all of these things here have been happening for decades. And people are tricked into thinking that they have to take these drugs because that's their only option. So just know that. You'll run into opposition. You'll talk to family members and stuff like that, and they will hang on for dear life. They will not want to tear down that, handicapped parking tag from their rearview mirror. They won't. Some people need their disability or their pay. Well, because my first office manager was on disability, and we finally got her when she started coming to me as a patient before she ever started with me. She'd had surgery, Arnold-Chiari malformation. She'd had C1 and the posterior arch of her C1 and part of her occiput removed. Because she thought that they told her this is the only way we can fix your Arnold-Chiari malformation. Well, so we started adjusting her and changed her nutrition. Guess what? She started feeling better than she ever had, right? And within about a year or two, we got her off disability. Because on disability, you could only make like $700 a month. And the girl wanted to have a life. She was 25 years old at the time. And I said, well, let's get you off disability. We got her off disability. How many people come off disability? That was my first office manager. She was with me for 5.5 years. So when, people may think they need the disability, but really the disability is a hindrance. The disability is keeping them to a level where they're subservient to the government and handouts. There's a better way. There's a better way. People think they need it. They don't need it. I mean, I can't say that for everybody. If they're a disabled veteran or something like that, an arm or a leg blown off or something like that, I'm not going to belittle that. But what I am saying is people aren't nearly as destroyed as they want to believe they are, is what I'm saying. Questions? Questions. We need a microphone, Ange. We got the 58 back here. Wida, you have a comment? Hold that thought. Oh, and hey, Gary, I'll have you come up and say something here in a minute. There you go. You have a comment.
First, you mentioned the ketamine.
Yes.
Many years ago, I worked at a hospital, and they were experimenting with ketamine on the children as the anesthetic. And the children had such when we were in recovery, they were having such severe nightmares and screams and just absolutely terrorized that we had to stop it.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah. And the other comment is about insurance and about the mammograms and the colonoscopies. I actually had the experience of the insurance calling my doctor, telling my doctor I had not had that, and to get me scheduled. The insurance called and said it had to be done.
So the insurance dictating your health care instead of the doctor and instead of you. Sounds about right. Interesting, huh? Gary, come on up. Gary and Lori. Well, Lori, you want to come up too? We'll make this quick. Yeah, come on up. So this is Gary. How you doing, buddy?
Smashing. Thank you.
Smashing. Here, you guys hold on to that. I've got one mic here. You guys can share that one. So Gary and Lori are from Charlotte, North Carolina, or at least that's where they live right now. We're trying to pull them this way. We're trying to wheel them into Cleveland. But Gary and Lori are friends of my sister and brother-in-law right here. By the way, this is my sister. Don't hate me because of her. I'm just... And this is my brother-in-law, so this is Ken and Deb. So they are, well, yeah, you and Lori went to school together. High school, yeah. So back in prehistoric, okay. You knew you were walking right into that one. But so they just recently started watching some of the classes and things like that we put out for free here, the wellness workshops. And give them a list of kind of some of the stuff that you've realized and some of the stuff that you've dropped or that you've discontinued, or give a short 99-cent. Since you've traveled all the way here, I have to give you a little bit of mic time and say welcome. But give the guys give the class and video viewers a little bit of background.
Okay, good enough. In fact, I think I'm going to have my wife give a little bit of the background because she and some of the good folks that were praying with her, I'm convinced I was ultimately going to be getting healthy because of their prayers. So I'm going to let her speak a little bit about that, and then I'll tell you a little bit about my story and my awakening in the whole medical realm.
Well, I had seen Gary's health go down rather quickly, and he is a sugarholic, and it was getting very, very out of hand, and I was very concerned. And of course, a lot of times something that the wife says doesn't always sink in, and when you're concerned about somebody, sometimes it can come across as nagging. And so anyway, I thought, well, I'm just dragging out the big guns, and I'm part of a prayer triad. I've always been part of a prayer triad for many, many years. And I started praying for Gary probably, 10 or 15 years ago regarding this. And he got cancer, and it was a wake-up call, and he started to change everything. And I thought, oh, this is great. This is the answer to prayer. And that didn't last. And so I said, all righty, we gotta be on our knees again. And before we came to visit Ken and Debbie in the spring, I knew the connection. And I thought to myself, boy, if Gary could just, hear about Brett, if he could, hear from another man, the effects of this stuff. And we were sitting at breakfast one morning, and a statement that Ken had made. He said, Brett says to just eat real food. Well, for some reason, that clicked with Gary. And I thought, well, I've seen other things click. We'll see what happens. But I was hopeful. And got back to the hotel that night. And he had a 2-pound container of orange slices, a half a bag of chocolate chips, and his usual pretzels. Those were his, standbys, his nightly meal, watching the... And all of a sudden he says, I've had it. And he just threw it all out. And I thought, wow. And we, began to watch more of Brett's videos, started to get on the supplements, started to learn, I thought I was cooking healthy. How you always say people think they're eating healthy, they really aren't. So started learning more and educating ourselves and that kind of thing. But anyway, that's kind of how it got started. So it started with the Lord, getting on your hands and knees and gathering other people. There's power in prayer and power in numbers. And so I guess that's what you wanted me to say? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you, Dr. Brett and the staff here. Incredible place. My idea, I'm a pastor by calling. And so I've always wanted Jesus to be Lord and Savior of all of my life, including my health. But I just didn't know how to do it. My idea of good health was the difference between making a choice between an Oscar Mayer hot dog and a Hebrew National hot dog. And if you choose the National Hebrew hot dog, you're doing well. So it tells you where my head was at. Yeah. Never mind that, cancer and then the complications with the surgery almost took my life. But God graciously spared it and answered my wife's prayers and a lot of others' prayers. But the awakening came for me when basically they said, eat the food that God makes without man tampering with it as much as possible. And that quickened my spirit, and it's almost like my health awakening caught up to my conversion 37 years ago, to whereas now I know what it means to take care of my body as a temple of the Holy Spirit. But it took that long. But that's okay, Jesus.
Hearing that, Cleveland?
And I love my sweet tea and Mountain Dew and honey buns as much as everybody does.
Not anymore, brother.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
And so, anyway, I started watching and learning. It's opened a whole new world to me, health-wise. After the last 2 years, I was totally disgusted and dismayed with the traditional healthcare system. I didn't want to go the alternative route just because in most of those places there's like a Buddha everywhere you turn. That wasn't for me. But this was so unique and so biblical and straightforward. And so I went all the way back to 2020, and I've literally watched every WellWorks seminar since then. And I'm a pattern guy, a lot like you, so by God's grace, I'm able to put things and pull them together and begin to do that, make changes in my life and eat the way I'm supposed to, get on supplements that are going to be good for us, not put stuff on my body, change the water, so forth and so on. Well, in the midst of doing that, I've been able to get off of 6 prescriptions. I have no prescriptions that I'm taking whatsoever at this point because I started getting well and healthy and therefore didn't need them. Yes.
And keep in mind, this is the first time they've been here. They've never been patients. They've just been listening to what we've been saying on videos from Charlotte, North Carolina. Continue.
Absolutely, and just got rid of the CPAP machine, so that is no longer there.
Did you bring it for me?
I thought about doing that because I know you would want to take a sledgehammer to it.
Oh, we take shipments.
And it's so freeing. I can cuddle with my wife again, and I didn't have to lug it here.
Wow.
So forth and so on. So that was huge. But
Yes.
I'll tell you, my digestion has been well since I've just started implementing the teachings. My sinus and allergy issues that I've had forever as a child are almost completely gone.
Yep. So it's not pollen?
No.
It's not pollen. What do you mean?
No. No.
The news tells me it's pollen.
Yeah. Nope. I'm sorry. It's not. And back and pain, neck issues are almost non-existent. I've got skin issues getting better. My blood pressure is fine. I just went for the traditional checkup just because I wanted to see what would happen. And the report was, everything's fine. It looks real good. Well, how about that?
What'd they say about you coming off 6 medications, or did they know?
Well, they did. I had some of them I had to have some medical assistance with because you're not supposed to go off them cold turkey.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to go that route, but I've got rather a unique traditional healthcare provider that's really been supportive and helped in the process. I know they tend to be the exceptions rather than the rules, but by God's grace, I got one. So anyway, and I feel terrific. I've got enough energy to get through the day and do what I need to do. I've got so much more to learn.
How much weight did you lose? You told us earlier.
25 pounds I've lost.
Since March.
Since March, yes.
And this is the first time you stepped foot inside the place, and the first time we've met, and you just came tonight to the class. You're in town visiting, right? So see what can happen just by listening and watching. Do you take notes?
Yes, sir.
See?
I've got a house full of Dr. Brett notes. They're all over the place.
They'll save your life. Yeah. They'll save your life. We mean that, saving lives ahead of time. Because if you just pass along this information to people, it'll register right here, just like it did with Gary. It'll register right here, and you'll go, that makes sense. I can latch onto that. That builds your faith. Faith comes by hearing, right? So, yeah, what else? Anything else?
Amen.
That's great. I'm so proud of you, man. That's great.
No, thank you. I thank the Lord. It's ultimately He, and you know that because that's the name of the ministry, the practice here, Divine Design.
Right.
And so it's all the Lord and answer to prayer ultimately, but we have to do the footwork.
Right.
And so that's what we're still learning how to do, and we've got a lot more to learn, and we've got a long way to go. But by God's grace, I'm not going back.
There you go. Once you learn it, you can't unlearn it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's so simple and it's so easy. And we've been trained and taught and beat over the head for years, decades, that your body's your enemy. You've got an autoimmune disease. Fever is going to kill you. Your heartbeat's a disease. Your blood pressure's a disease. Cholesterol's a disease. All this nonsense. And what has medicine gotten us? Has it made us healthier or sicker? Sicker. Look at all of us. And we have to give a shout out, too, to Magali and Cliff Anderson, because these guys were coming to visit last time, right? And they stopped at Fields of the Wood in Murphy, North Carolina. And they, yeah. You met Cliff there, too. Yeah, Gordon. So Cliffy. And Magali. We have to give a shout out to them. I know they watch everything too, and so they'll recognize you because they stopped at Fields of the Wood in Murphy, North Carolina, and they were talking, and the conversation came up, and they somehow, what is that, 2 hours away? An hour away, and they met Cliff and Magali over there, and they were on their way here to come and meet my sister. And Cliff and Magali started talking about me over there in Murphy, North Carolina, and they somehow put it together that this was the same place they were coming to. It was crazy. So I just wanted to give a shout out to, I'd forgotten about Gordon.
I met Cliff.
How did you meet Cliff?
Rig 2020 hat.
Oh, yes.
When I walked in,
The-
he said, "Oh."
The rigged 2020 hat.
Conversation started.
That is a conversation starter, yeah. So I just wanted to say that to Cliff and Magali, because they're special people to us here. We love them like family. They have 10 kids, and I've met most of them, but they caretake for Fields of the Wood over there. So, interesting story, huh? Very interesting story. And look at what they've done without even being patients, just by listening and applying it. Glad you're here, man. Fabulous. Look at the, no problem. So see?
In mysterious ways.
Yeah. So think about how, what an inspiring story right there. Could your parents or your aunts and uncles or your cousins or your sister or brother, could they pull off something like this? They did it, right? They've never even been a patient. We haven't even, yeah, if they're willing, right? But they have to be willing to lay down all of this old stuff that we just proved is fake. We just proved to you it's outdated, antiquated, archaic information that is deceptive. If they're willing to admit that they've been lied to and move on and learn something and pick up new habits and new things, then yeah, sky's the limit. They proved it. So you guys, kudos to you, seriously. I'm very, very proud. Very proud. All right, so of course, a couple of free giveaways. Here we go. Look at that. Look who just, and Astrid. There you go. All right. We're going to phase out. Hey, what's the next class? It's November something something. It's the mean what you say what you mean. No. What's the next class? I don't remember. We've got another class in a month.
It was a mystery one you had. You said mystery panel.
Mystery panel. Oh, yes. That's in November. We have a couple of mystery speakers coming for that class. I don't recall the day. 17th, 13th, something. Is there no sign? Come and see us. Just show up every night. We'll be teaching. It's one of those nights. So, Dr. Brett Spradlin, signing off. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you in a month. All right.